Alright guys, welcome to the Captain Jimmy Lewis Assassinating Mutton video. This is the video you've all been waiting for. This is what you called me on the phone for. Guys, we're going to start and show you the tackle that you need in order to get started to get going to assassinate snappers. Okay, the ballyhoo 3/0 ultra sharp offset hooks. The pilchards and pinfish, we use treble hooks. As far as through the bottom of the jaw, it's a 4th strength, number 2, 4th strength, and I have different treble hooks that I use, which are very effective. 40-pound mono leader, which is what you're going to use as far as on your reel direct from the spool all the way to the swivel itself that you're going to put your mono to. The bank leads are very important, folks. There's a 2 ounce, 4 ounce, 6 ounce, 8 ounce, and 10 ounce. And why is the reason that I use so many? It's for current. When there's no current, the lighter the lead, the more current, the heavier the lead to get the bait on the bottom. All right, folks, let's start from the very basic beginning. What do I use as far as to catch these snappers? That's a common question. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take you all the way back to the beginning from A. Guys, this is a 40-pound spool of Pink Andy. This is what I use directly to the spool. Well, how do I put the line as far as on the reel itself? Guys, you need a screwdriver and a spool line. This is a 1/2 pound Pink Andy 40. And we're going to put it on the rod itself right now. All right, guys, this takes 2 people to actually do. You need a screwdriver and a spool of 40-pound Pink Andy. Take the screwdriver, put it inside the spool of Pink Andy, and what we're going to do is we're going to have our assistant hold the mono itself. We're going to come through the guide as far as on the rod itself. We're going to put it on the spool with a uni knot. Now, what happens is we take the mono as far as on the mono itself, go around the spool. As we go around the spool, we're going to make a loop with our tag end. Now, as we make a loop with the tag end, we're going to go 3 times around as far as both the mono and the loop itself. We're going to pull tight, and what happens is we're going to tug that a little bit, and we're going to cut that end off right there. Now, as we pull down as far as on the spool, it's going to pull down for us and tighten down on the spool. With our bail open, we're going to close our bail at this point. We're going to hold our line as far as on the outside. We have a BG90 and a 20-pound spinning rod. So we're going to actually fill our spool with a little bit of tension. You got to put a little bit of tension so the line doesn't sink down into the spool on pressure. So we're going to actually put it on our spool itself. A little less pressure, please. And we're going to put it on as far as on the spool itself. We're going to fill the spool up. We're going to go to max capacity as far as on the reel itself. All right, guys, we're done as far as winding the line on the reel. We try to keep it to the black mark. Most of the reel manufacturers give you a guideline. Put it up to about that far, not too much so the line doesn't pull off the spool. Now that we've wound all our line as far as on the spool itself, guys, now what we're going to do is I'm going to show you the secret to make your snapper a success as far as the tab on the line. Folks, this is death to a mutton snapper. Remember I was telling you about no current green water? I use the lightest lead possible. 100 feet away from the hook is this lead, which is detachable on the tab itself. As this lead goes down, folks, it goes all the way to the bottom. You want almost no current, no wind. That's the most effective. The snappers are predators. They're territorial. They stay on the bottom, and they will find that ballyhoo no matter where it is. Now, as I use the 2 ounce, I use it for no current. I use a heavier lead for all the currents as far as an 8 ounce or a 6 ounce. The 6 ounce is my favorite because it goes all the way to the bottom. When a snapper eats, it's light enough to pull up, but it's easier enough for the snapper to eat the ballyhoo all the way down. All right, guys, what is the effectiveness of the wax deno tape? This is the secret weapon, guys. What we do is we buy this at CVS. This is where I bought it from. We take it out of the package. As far as over there, you'll see the wax tape as far as on the outside. We're going to make what's called a tab as far as on our rod itself. Take approximately a foot as far as the deno tape itself, as far as on the line itself. Now, it's deno tape, not deno floss, and it's waxed. The reason why it's waxed is you want it to stay on your leader and not slide up and down the line when the lead actually has friction to your fish as far as on the end of the hook. Now, I take a foot as far as on the deno tape, I peel it off, and I double it. I take the deno tape, I put it, I double it, keep it half and half. Now, this is what I'm going to cover. If you take your rod and you pull tight as far as on one side, you have a little bit of tension on your rod tip all the way to the line itself. You take the line, you put the tab as far as on there, you have the loop as far as that you made on your half. You start on that and you pull tight. Now, what you do is you take your tab and you half hitch as far as on the outside. And what you're gonna do is you're gonna half hitch it all the way up, and you're gonna do it approximately 10 times. Now what you're doing, folks, is you're taking your half hitches and you're moving them up the line, not having them go on top of the line, so that it keeps it tight as far as the whackness of the dental tape actually keeps it in place as far as on there. Now I'm going to go 10 times as far as on the outside, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a loop. I'm going to take my finger, put it inside, and make a loop approximately that big. Then I'm going to go 10 more times as far as half hitches as far as on the outside. This is the secret of the killing success of a charter boat to a mutton snapper. It doesn't look like much right now, but when I tell you what it does, it's going to be awesome. All right, I'm going to finish it up. I'm going to put my 10 half hitches on the other side, and then I'm going to cut my excess as far as on the deno tape as far as on the outside. All right guys, now that we got the tab on the line, what we're going to do is we're going to show you how to make the bank lead to the swivel itself, how to do it. All right guys, to make the lead itself, we're going to use a snap swivel, a 4-ounce lead for demonstration, and our wax tape. All right guys, very important why we use wax tape. It works out to be about 10-pound test. The wax tape itself, when we have it, we basically pull it off, and there's a knot that we use. Now once the lead starts hitting the bottom, we want this to break at 10 pounds in case it gets wrapped up as far as in a C-fan or the bottom itself. We take the lead itself, we put the dental tape as far as in it, and we call it what's called a uni knot. You take the line, you make a loop 3 times through and pull it tight. 1, 2, 3, and pull it tight. Now, we pull that tight, we pull it tight as far as on the bottom of the lead, and we do the same thing to the snap swivel. We have our snap swivel, we have our dental tape 3 times. We have the loop all the way through, we make a loop 3 times through. 1, 2, 3, pull tight. As we pull it tight down on the swivel itself, we pull it on the lead, we cut off our excess on both sides, and there we go. Our bank lead is made, and we have it. We have a 4-ounce there, we have a 2-ounce there, so we have no current here, a little bit more current, and a little bit more current as far as on our bank leads themselves. All right guys, when you double up the tab, it gives you 2 tabs as far as on the line itself. Very, very, very important that you have 2 of them, because in the heat of battle when the bite is going on, you don't want to stop for anything. You want to catch fish. So the whole thing is I have 2 tabs. Remember, I doubled it. So my snap swivel, while the lead is in the water, it comes up out of the water. What you want to do is you want to be able to take the snap swivel, unsnap it, and take it off of the tab itself, and you're connected to the fish straight. Now that tab goes through the guides and into your spool onto your reel until you fight the fish to the end where he comes up, where he's right at the boat to gaff. All right guys, now that we're past the lead part as far as 100 feet away from the line itself, let's get to the hook itself, and I'll show you on the other end of the line as far as the leader what goes on as far as a hook is concerned. All right guys, let's go into the meat and potatoes as far as on the rig itself. The leader itself, as far as on your mono, 40-pound mono, goes to a regular number 4 swivel as far as on the outside, with a haywire twist as far as on the outside. Goes into a number 4, number 5 wire, which is approximately 43 to 50-pound test wire. Goes down. Now this is a ballyhoo rig that we use. It's an ultra sharp mustad hook with a piece of ballyhoo wire, haywire twisted to the hook itself. Now, as I put my ballyhoo on there, it's a live ballyhoo, remember. I'm going to cover that in the next segment as far as how to catch my own live ballyhoo. But I have the ballyhoo. You can imagine his beak's on the top, his mouth's on the bottom, it goes down on the bottom. You wrap the ballyhoo wire around his bill, and basically you're in business. You're ready to go. Now, if you ballyhoo aren't accessible as far as over there, and you have to buy big pilchards and pinfish work just as well. But with the pilchards, I like a treble hook and the same rig as far as there. That is the treble hook series of it, and that's the ballyhoo series of it. All right, guys. Like I said before, it's a number 4, 40-pound test wire as far as 013 diameter coffee. I have it in my hand right here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you from the very beginning as far as how to make this happen. I have our Mustad Ultra Point hook. I have my wire. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the blue tab, I'm going to take the wire, and I'm going to push it through the blue tab itself. I'm going to pull one time and see where it comes out, and then I'm going to pull that string out. I want approximately 12 inches to my swivel, to my hook itself, to give the snapper enough time to grab it and hook him down in his mouth. Now the first thing I want to do is take my little number 4 swivel, take it to the end, and I want to put it through the swivel itself and a haywire twist, what's called a haywire twist, and you're actually wrapping the mono in a 45-degree angle. Pinching the wire as far as down on the bottom on a 45-degree angle, approximately 8 haywire twists. Now what you want to do after you get to the haywire twist, you want to put what's called a barrel wrap, which is a 90-degree wrap as far as over the wire itself, all the way around the wire, and keep it tight, because what happens is after you keep it tight, you're going to want to break the wire off on the barrel wrap. If the barrel wrap is tight, the wire will pop right off. Now let's see if it works. Pop it, twist it at a 90 degree, it pops right off. See how easy that is? Now we're going to do the same barrel wrap as far as on our hook. Now the treble hook and the other hook is just the same thing. There's no difference. You put it through the eye of the hook itself, pinch the wire as far as a little bit above it, 45-degree angle. It's very simple. It takes a little bit of practice, but once you get the haywire twist down pat, it's the most success that you're ever going to have as far as mackerel, kingfish, dolphin, everything that eats wire. You know, a lot of people say that sailfish won't eat wire. Buddy, let me tell you something. The sailfish will pipe this wire just like it wasn't even there. Now remember, the barrel wrap has to be absolutely tight as far as on top of each other. And what I do is I go around about 6 times, 90 degree, pop it all the way around, comes right off. All right guys, in demonstration purposes, I want to show you a spinning rod versus a conventional rod. A spinning rod basically is what I prefer, because I can take the ballyhoo with 100 feet of line as far as leader on the reel. I can cast the ballyhoo out and get to the tab. Now for demonstrations, I'm going to cast this out. Watch how easy it is. 40-pound mono leader to the hook itself. I have my ballyhoo on the other end of the line. I'm going to cast them out away from the boat and get to my tab. I cast my ballyhoo out. My tab is absolutely right at the bow. I take my rod, I put it into a covering board rod holder as far as on the other side. I take my lead that I have in my pocket. I take my tab itself with my snap swivel. I put it inside the tab itself. I put and lock my snap swivel as far as on the tab itself. And I'm ready to drop my bait to the bottom. I take my rod out of my rod holder and my covering board. I drop it over the side of the boat on the bottom, and I start dropping it as far as to the bottom itself. Now remember folks, with a spinning rod it's very, very easy. I open my bail, I open the line itself, and I let the line go as far as all the way to the bottom. I lock it up and I'm ready to go fishing. As simple as that. All right guys, let's go through a little drill here as far as just to let you know as far as how far 100 feet is, or how far that leader actually is away from the boat. If you look at the rod tip right now, my Dino Floss tab is right at the rod tip right now. If you follow the leader all the way down, you'll see a green poly ball as far as down on the other end. That's how far you want your leader as far as to that fish itself. All right guys, let's talk about drag a little bit. How much drag do I need in this killer arsenal of tackle that we have? Buddy, let me tell you something. It's a matter of light drag versus the fish itself. Now the snapper is smart. He's going to try to rock you in the bottom. He's going to try to get you in the ledges and everything else. You got to put a substantial hurt on him, but at the same time, you can't just lock down the drag because the fish is pulling drag. You got to be patient. You got to remember, when the rod bows down and he's pulling drag, let him pull drag. He's only going to pull 10, 12, 15, 18 feet. Then once he gets it, the strength of your rod, as far as in the backbone of your rod, you're going to be pumping and winding. The less drag you have on him, the more you can cut the spool a little bit with your finger and get him coming to you, the better off you are. And the death run, what I call the death run, is the last thing when he knows, usually when that level comes, the lead comes up to the swivel and you take that off, that's a death run. He knows he's done if he doesn't break you off. Let him go. have a little bit of patience, let him pull off a little bit of drag, get him back up to the boat, wind him right up to the boat, stick him with a gaff and put him in the boat. All right, folks, our angler is hooked up to the snapper itself. We're inside the cockpit of a boat or inside the boat itself. The rod tip comes down as far as in the lead itself. Now the lead is now just starting to break the water as far as up at the surface. Now as he winds up, the lead will actually come up out of the surface. Now I'm in the back of the boat. Now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take my lead off as far as on while the fish is still on. I'm gonna take my lead off and put it in my pocket. Now, our angler is 100 feet away from that snapper right now as far as at the back. Now our angler is gonna pump up and wind down at the same time as he is going. He's pumping up, pumping the snapper. Now notice the tab goes on the spool itself, totally away from the lead, everything. It's on your spool. Now, we're pumping and winding the fish all the way up to the boat. 100 feet away as far as from the fish itself. Now take that green polyball as far as on the other side is our snapper that is now 100 feet away from our boat. As we come down there, pumping and winding, the fly battle's still going on, everything is still going on, everything is cool, everything's still good. Now he's probably 30 feet away from the boat. Now comes the impact. Now our angler is basically on the rod itself. He's pumping and winding. The snapper is right there. Now our mate basically comes up there, grabs a gaff, boom, gaffs the fish and puts him in the boat right there. No muss, no fuss. Snapper done. He's in the box. Guys, thank you very much for watching this video. You can subscribe to the Captain Jimmy Lewis live video as far as that I'm going to shoot next week by subscribing to the YouTube channel Captain Jimmy Lewis. I want to thank you for watching this video, and there's a lot more videos coming to be seen. Make sure you tune in. Tight lines and great fishing.